Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. We are back for the preview ahead of Manchester United against AC Milan. The first leg in Manchester United's two-rounder with, obviously, the Rossoneri. And this is usually a Champions League game, isn't it? I got great memories of us playing AC Milan in the Champions League, beating them 4-0 when they had David Beckham in the team. Wayne Rooney scoring late on against a team that featured Kaká, Pirlo, Seedorf. All those kind of memories of great games between these two sides. Two sides, though, that have had a relative fall from grace in recent years. And two sides that are fighting to get back to where they once were. Manchester United, AC Milan, big game on the Thursday night. It's the early kickoff as well in the Europa League. Don't forget that, Reg. You don't want to be missing out on the game. Thinking it's a later kickoff than usual. And obviously it being the earlier kickoff against AC Milan. But huge game for Manchester United. And I like that it's a big team. I know in the past we've had some ties that you think, these are proper Europa League ties. You have to be winning these. And we've lost some of them. You think of Midtjylland, they're initially losing over there in Denmark. But some ties you want that you need the top ties. Because most teams in the Europa League anyway, they're in the Europa League for a reason. They're in the Europa League because they're not one of the best teams in Europe at this moment in time. Manchester United got dumped into Europa League because of our poor form towards the end. Again, in the Champions League, not picking up points in the last two games really cost us. All we needed was 1 point. Now look, you could look at our team and say it's a Champions League team, fair enough. And there's a few teams around that you could look at and say those same things as well. But when you look around, the Europa League teams, you should be beating all of them. But it's nice to get a team that makes you think it's a big tie. Do you know what I mean? You don't want to be playing Midtjylland, the Club Brugge all the time. Although I know we play Club Brugge in the Champions League, and all these teams, you don't want to be playing them. Zorya, Luhansk, and you want some proper European ties. And this is just that against AC Milan. We'll look at the team news. Obviously, there's doubts over Marcus Rashford as well. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has given us an update on whether Marcus Rashford will be fit or not for this game. There's obviously, doubts over Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who won't be available for the AC Milan team as well in this game. So we'll be looking at the team news for both teams. We'll have my predicted 11. We'll get some of your thoughts on the predicted 11s. And obviously, we'll get your thoughts on AC Milan as well, who... for large parts of this season, people thought they were going to win the Serie A. They thought they were going to bring it home. It's been a while since they've done that. They were led by Zlatan Ibrahimovic. They have fallen to second place in recent weeks. Back-to-back defeats didn't help them in the league. And they've fallen 6 points behind their Milan rivals, Inter Milan. But still a long way to go. An AC Milan side that are, They're trying to get back there. They have Diogo Dalot in their ranks. They've got the likes of, Kalanoglu in their ranks. They've got some very, very talented players in their team. And we'll be going through what we can expect from them. I can see in the comments we've got Joachim, Nostalgic Neil, Hassan, Callum Chima, Andrew, Tio in the house as well. Thank you very much for joining us live. And if you're not watching us live, then thank you very much for getting involved. A lot of talk coming into this about Edinson Cavani. We discussed it on the Weekly United. Now, Edinson Cavani is a doubt for this game. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has pretty much confirmed that in his team news in the press conference, the pre-match press conference. He confirmed that we had pretty much the same side that we took to the Etihad on the weekend, but Marcus Rashford was now a doubt. Marcus Rashford picked up an ankle injury in the game against Manchester City. It wasn't as bad as first feared. We feared that there might be some ligament damage there or something. And it was just swelling and a little bit of tenderness around the ankle. But if there's any doubt, if there's any pain, if there's any swelling around Marcus Rashford's ankle, we need to be leaving him at home. There's no point getting him involved in this Europa League game and potentially ruining things for him for the rest of the campaign. We've seen it in the past. He has injuries. We try and force him to play through injuries, or he tries to force himself to play through injuries, and then something will happen. I remember him coming off the bench against Wolves in a cup game and thinking, I swear this guy broke his back. Just how long? And the next thing you know, he's going down holding his back after going up for a challenge. It just doesn't make sense to be risking Marcus Rashford, and I think we need to, protect himself from himself sometimes. And the same with Bruno Fernandes. We look for Bruno Fernandes to get rested sometimes. Yes, it's great to have a player that will demand that he plays week in, week out and doesn't want to win any games. But at the same time, we want Bruno Fernandes to be fit for the whole season. We want him to be at his optimal fitness for some key games. And playing him in dead rubbers in the Europa League, like we were 4-0 up against Real Sociedad and we played him in that second leg, that didn't make sense to me. Now, if we can get a similar lead against AC Milan, which, to be honest, I doubt, then you'd hope that Bruno Fernandes wouldn't play in the second leg and you'd use that opportunity to rest players. But it was a real weird one to play him in the Europa League second leg against Real Sociedad. And I hope we don't make a similar decision with Marcus Rashford here when he's clearly, picking up a big knock against Manchester City. He doesn't come off for no reason. And if there is any doubts, just leave him out. Don't get him involved with the team. There were possibilities that Edinson Cavani could potentially return. And there's been a lot of talk about him as well, with his future being up in the air apparently as well. And people saying, will he be looking to leave? There was a lot of talk from quotes from his father as well. But apparently his father was taken out of context and was mistranslated, which can happen when quotes are obviously translated from one language to another. You miss some of the context of what is being said. Cavani then went on to tweet or post rather on Instagram how proud he is to wear the Manchester United shirt, seemingly making a point that those were just rumours that were about. Obviously the club, Cavani, are going to sit down at the end of the season, discuss and debate where Manchester United, whether we're going to keep him or he's going to go or whatever. And I'm sure there's a decision to make for Manchester United and for himself as well. Man United might have a longer term prospect in mind. Someone may be coming available in the summer and United think, shall we go in for them and just let Edinson Cavani go? Because Edinson Cavani isn't going to be on cheap wages. But you'd expect that the likes of Erling Haaland won't be on the move till next summer. And if that's the case, then Manchester United will probably be in a position where they'll want to keep Edinson Cavani around the team. We've already heard how much of a positive influence his experience is, how much of a positive influence his just quality has been, as someone that the younger strikers can look at and learn from. And it's important that we keep those kind of players around the team. We've lost a lot of experience over the last couple of years, and it'd be good to keep Edinson Cavani within that team for even if it is just another year as well. I'm sure there's a little bit there that, as well as agent ploys and trying to get a little bit more money and seeing if there is any interest elsewhere to maybe force Manchester United to offer up a little bit more. But that's the way the game is. That's football for you. That's what happens, whether it's Edinson Cavani or Ashley Young. They all engage in the same sort of tactics to get better deals and those kind of things. So it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case here. But Cavani coming out and speaking out when there were rumours around was good to see. But I hope he does end up staying at Manchester United, although it looks like he won't be available for this game. So let's get that full team news where Rashford, unlikely to play for Manchester United. There were doubts about Luke Shaw and Anthony Martial heading into the Manchester City game, but both players played. So speaking to the media ahead of the match with Milan, he's confirmed that he expects Rashford to be unable to take on the Italians. He said, I don't think he'll be available for tomorrow. He's still getting treatment, but he didn't join in the training today. Even though normally I'm a very optimistic guy, I still think he's going to be out tomorrow night and a doubt for the weekend. So he's also a doubt for that game on the weekend against West Ham, which is an important game for Man United. You win that, you start to build a little bit of a gap between one of those teams that are fighting for a top four spot. He says that 60-70 yard recovery run against Manchester City, which led to the injury, showed the hunger, spirit, humility in our work that we've got at the moment. It was probably worth it there and then, but you're never happy when you lose players for games. The manager did later say it was possible Rashford could make it. describing him as a maybe, a word he also used to describe Cavani's potential availability. But he was less optimistic about United's 5 other current absentees. He said, I'm not sure if anyone will be back. David is not available. Donny, no. Paul, no. Edinson, maybe, but probably not. Mata, no. And Marcus, maybe, but probably not. So it's similar to Sunday, but maybe we've lost Marcus. So it looks like he's trying to keep AC Milan on their toes as well, in terms of, not committing on who is available, who isn't available, in order to probably keep them guessing in terms of team selection, tactics, who are they going to come up against, those kind of things. All managers would do it, and I'm sure he's keeping a few of his cards close to his chest. So there you have it, with the team news from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Now let's move on to maybe, my predicted team for this game. Now that we know the team news and all that stuff, this is my predicted team for this game. I've gone with Anthony Martial up top, Greenwood, Daniel James. You've got, I would have put Daniel James on the left and Mason Greenwood on the right. It looks like that's been swapped around. I would probably change that so that Daniel James is in his natural position, but you get the drift with that. Bruno Fernandes just in behind the striker and in between Daniel James and Mason Greenwood. McTominay and Fred in the midfield is something that I expect we'll see. Shaw, Maguire, Bailly back in the side alongside Maguire. Thought Lindelof was excellent against Manchester City, but Eric Bailly to come in. Wan-Bissaka and Dean Henderson as well. So that is my predicted team. We've got Anthony Martial up top. Obviously, Edinson Cavani, a doubt. You're not going to risk him for this game. Play with Anthony Martial. Good performance for him. Against Manchester City, great to see him putting in that kind of performance. Hopefully, he can get a goal in this game. He needs to start adding goals now to his performance. Once he finds his goal-scoring boots again, we have got our number 9 back in action properly. Mason Greenwood, as I said, Daniel James, either side. You've got someone in a natural winger in Daniel James who, yes, his distribution is inconsistent in terms of his crossing, but his pressing, his work rate, his energy, his getting to the byline, you can always guarantee that from him. Mason Greenwood on the other side is a different prospect, someone that can beat a man with skill, pace, and score a goal. It gives you a little bit of a balance there. McTominay and Fred in the midfield, setting the foundation, hopefully, for Bruno Fernandes. Again, we know Fred was excellent against Manchester City, but the distribution from him to the final third was poor. We could have made them pay even more on the counter-attack if we were just a little bit more clever in the final third and clever with our passing. We need that to be much better as the season goes on and we're starting to play for real trophies. Bailly and Maguire in that centre-half partnership positions, and Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw. Maybe Alex Telles comes in for this one, but I think Luke Shaw's in such good form that you'd like to just keep him in the team and hopefully keep him ticking over. But with that big game against West Ham, maybe there are a few players that are rested by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but I can't see it personally in the first leg. Daniel Abraham says, why not start Amad Diallo instead of Daniel James? Whilst I would love to see Amad Diallo given a start in a game, Daniel James's form has been a lot better in recent weeks and you'd expect him to be given a start. So I expect that will happen in this case too. Get hitting that like button, guys. Get commenting, get sharing, get subscribing, get your thoughts in on your predicted 11s in the comments below as well. Let's have a look at AC Milan's recent form. 1 second. Serie A standings. Right, here we go. So the second in the league, as I said, 6 points off top spot. They've got Fikayo Tomori at AC Milan. He was a very good player from Chelsea, who's there on loan at the minute, which is an interesting signing for them. Obviously, they've got Diogo Dalot as well, who I believe can play in this game. Funnily enough, is available to play against his parent team in this one, if I remember correctly. Missing for AC Milan is Benacer, Kalanoglu, who's out with a muscle injury. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Maldini, Mandzukic and Rebic are all missing for AC Milan in this game. Diogo Dalot will be coming up against his former side, as I said in this one. You've really got to watch out for Frank Kessie, who has scored in 3 of Milan's last 4 games, coming from the penalty spot. He'll probably be their major threat, with the likes of Zlatan Ibrahimovic missing for them. Not playing for Manchester United, as we discussed earlier. Phil Jones, Mata, Paul Pogba, David De Gea as well. And Cavani, Marcus Rashford are doubts. Donny van der Beek is also out. So that's the team news from their side and from our side of things as well. Get hitting that like button, get commenting, get sharing, get subscribing, and get your thoughts in as well on the teams. Glenn says, surprised no Telles to give Shaw a rest. As I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see Alex Telles in the starting lineup, but I imagine maybe Luke Shaw keeps his spot because of the good form he is in. Apologies if I've been butchering the names, Kareem. I do apologise for that one. But yeah, that's my predicted team. That's the team news for AC Milan. Oh man, it's a shame. You know, imagine being at the stadium for this one and Zlatan was fit. Coming back to Old Trafford, giving him a decent reception, because we never really got to say goodbye to him towards the end, did we? It'd be great to be able to do that. But we're not at Old Trafford for this one, which is a damn shame. We do need to get a good win though. And we do need to hopefully win a trophy this season. It's a big opportunity for us to win a trophy. Now, Joachim says, FA Cup or the Europa League. For me personally, I'd prefer to win the FA Cup, especially if you've already got top 4 spot. I'm assuming we're finishing in the top 4 in that instance as well. If it was an either or, I'd say the FA Cup, because I'm more attached to that personally. I'd love to win both, as Charles says, being greedy. This is the team that I think we've got a predicted 11 from Lorenzo, who is an AC Milan fan. He says Donnarumma in goal, fantastic goalkeeper for them. He's been in goal for them for so long and he's still so young, which is incredible. Calabria, Tomori, Fikayo Tomori, Kier, who's a player for me, Kier, who absolutely killed it for me over the years on Football Manager. Diogo Dalot, Salamekas, Kese, or Hesse, whatever you want to call him, Tonali, Castillejo, Diaz, and Rafael Leo, I think that is. Martial, please grab a brace and get your confidence back. Can't rationalise his dip in form, says FH. It is just a dip in form. Marty says, imagine Dalot doing bits. Yeah, it'd be a sickener, wouldn't it? I don't know why he can play in this game. Anyway, it's a real weird one. He shouldn't be playing in this game, I'm sure. But Diogo Dalot is playing in this game and he will be playing against Manchester United. And we need to make sure that we're giving him a little bit of a slapping. Also, while I'm here, follow me on Stereo if you can. I'm doing some more shows on there very soon. Follow me on Stereo. I've put the link in the description there or in the live chat. Yeah, stereo.com/AdamMcKola. If you're not on the app, download it. It's a great podcasting app. Me and Rory will be doing a show next week, and me and Jay or Joe will be jumping on another show as well, or maybe both of them. So make sure you're checking that out, stereo.com/AdamMcKola. Follow me up on there. I love how Luke Shaw's goal was in almost the same spot on the pitch where he broke his leg, says Adam. He broke his leg in Holland, didn't he? Unless you mean just on the same spot of the pitch, which is fair enough. Good game tomorrow, says Lorenzo. Fingers crossed it's a fixture that's more reminiscent of a Champions League tie than a Europa League tie. Two historic teams. I only have memories of these two teams being Champions League teams, to be honest. Try and ignore the Europa League times, but we are here now and we have to make the most of it, I suppose. And if you look at the Europa League, coming up against a team in AC Milan who could be regarded one of the favourites, I think it's fair to say that. You could regard AC Milan as one of the favourites. And if you look at the last 16 at this moment in time, if we can get rid of AC Milan, you've then got Ajax or Young Boys. Let's say Ajax go through there. Although there can be shocks, we know that. I'd imagine Ajax would get the business done. Dynamo Kiev or Villarreal. I'd imagine Villarreal gets the job done there. No disrespect to Kiev. Just going with my gut feeling on each of these. Man United AC. So let's say in this instance we get through. It's not a gimme by any stretch of the imagination. But let's say we do. Rangers, Slavia Prague. I'd imagine Rangers would go through there. I do think that one's a close one though. Wouldn't be surprised to see Prague. But with the confidence of already having the league sewn up, Steven Gerrard's doing really good things for Rangers. Wouldn't be surprised to see him go into the last 8. AS Roma, Shakhtar, this one's a tight one. Wouldn't be surprised to see Shakhtar go through. But I think Roma may just have the edge in the end. So we'll go Roma on that one. Granada against Molde. Again, another 50-50, I think. Although you may give the edge to the Spanish side because of the Spanish side and the quality of La Liga is stronger. Molde can still hold their own. They've had some very big years, wins in Europe. But let's say Granada, Molde, doesn't matter who goes through. Let's say Molde in this instance. Olympiacos or Arsenal. You'd expect after the Benfica game, Arsenal could go through. Olympiacos have knocked them out of this competition before though. But let's say Arsenal go through. Spurs against Zagreb. Bale, Ali, all those guys are playing now. You'd expect Spurs to get the business done. So you could have Spurs, Arsenal, Molde, Roma, Rangers, Man United, Villarreal, Ajax. That's winnable. Yes, Spurs and Arsenal are difficult teams, but they're probably the most difficult teams out of those teams that we have mentioned. And they play in our league. So you'd be quietly confident of being able to go at least to the semis, maybe the final. Given what we could see in the last 8. A lot of big names in there as well, which is good because it keeps it interesting, it keeps it tight. But a very, very interesting last 16. But we got a Stoke fan in the comments, which is interesting. Oscar, thank you for tuning in. Get hitting that like button, get commenting, get sharing, get subscribing as well. Get your super chats in if you've got anything to say. Twanzabi Williams, Tellez, and Matic have to start, says Hader. FH is big fan, keep smashing it on the kickoff. And Paddock, how excited are you for tomorrow for United Milan European clash? I admit I'm not feeling the buzz yet. It's the way with the Europa League games. You do feel a little bit, it's the Europa League, but I think we just have to embrace it. At the end of the day, whether it was the Europa League or the Champions League, we're not going to be at the games anyway. Man United versus AC Milan is a big game, and we want to keep the positive vibes going at Manchester United. You know, we're not finished in second yet, but if we can finish in second yet, which is still tight, could still see us drop into third or fourth, but let's hope we can hold on to our second spot, or maybe, who knows, depending on what Southampton do. I'm joking. So, you know, you finish second, you get a cup or 2. It looks like a very, very good season. So we need to embrace the cup competitions this year, try and get some silverware in the bag, so that we can go into next campaign thinking, right, got a few trophies. Harry Maguire, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have their first trophies as Man United captain and Man United manager. You know, some of the other players start to feel like they belong a little bit more. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will get more backing in the transfer market and all that. You need that positivity flowing through into next season. And one way to do that is by getting a trophy in the bag. 3-4 semi-finals we've had. Not good enough that we haven't turned that into a final, haven't turned that into a trophy. And hopefully, you know, we've got Leicester in the Cup, going to be a difficult game. We've got AC Milan in the Europa League, going to be a difficult game. But hopefully we can turn one of these at least into a final, and who knows, maybe a trophy. Where is Donny? He would have got a few games with us by now. Do you reckon he'll stay with us, says Hasp? I hope he stays with us. A lot, I think, does depend on Paul Pogba's future. Maybe it was a signing that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer didn't want. But he is injured at the moment, and I think we have to be fair in that regard that, you know, we can't expect him to play when he's injured, and we can't be complaining about him not playing when he is actually injured. It's a big shame that Pogba, Donny van der Beek have been injured, especially at this point in the season. You'd expect this would be a game as well where, you know, Donny van der Beek maybe would have been used if he had been fit and had participated in the last couple of weeks. So a little bit of a shame that he hasn't. But hopefully be back very, very soon to participate with the team. Because we have got a good squad. We still need to improve in certain areas. Right wing, centre half, DM. We need to improve in those positions. But we do have some depth in certain areas as well. So it's not too bad at all. Looking forward to this game, says Seb B. What's up with the downplay of the Europa League? Yes, it's OT, but not the Champions League, but it's still a trophy, says Adarius. It's true. I just think, you know, when you're a team that spends all or most of my living memory in the Champions League, and fans like me feel like that, you would want to be in there. It's like the League Cup to the FA Cup. League Cup games don't quite feel as special as the FA Cup games, do they? Or at least not to me. That's just the way of the world, I suppose. But yeah, Yalkin watching from Greece. We got the Red Indian in the comments as well. Thoughts on Delo returning from loan and possibly challenging Wan-Bissaka, says Adam. I'm a big fan of Diogo Delo, but I don't think Ollie fancies him. You've also got Ethan Laird coming through. Will he be able to come through and put pressure on Aaron Wan-Bissaka? That's also another question for the future as well. But anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in for what has been the Manchester United vs AC Milan preview. That there, Dean Henderson, Wan-Bissaka, Shaw, Maguire, Bailly, Fred, McTominay, Bruno, Daniel James, Mason Greenwood and Anthony Martial is my predicted 11. My predicted score is Manchester United 2, AC Milan 0. I think we'll get a win going into the second leg, but it won't be a win that is as emphatic as the win over Real Sociedad. But I do fancy us to be able to get the job done against AC Milan. Marcus Rashford could be a big miss. We need a big performance from Anthony Martial, Mason Greenwood, Daniel James, if they start. But I am confident that we will get the job done. So those are my thoughts ahead of the AC Milan game. Get your thoughts in the comments below as well. Make sure you're keeping it locked. Liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. We'll have reaction to the game for you tomorrow and loads more coming up this week as well. So make sure you're there and go over to stereo.com/AdamMcKola. Follow me on there. Get involved. We'll have content coming up for you soon. Until then, I'm out of here.